If you're just now being put onto Garp's right-hand man, this could be what Oda intended. Thanks to the live action, Bogart hype is the highest it's ever been, and it could be that Oda wants to bring him to the mainstream in order to give him a proper reintroduction in the manga. It's actually crazy how much focus this dude got in the live action. Like, he spoke more in this series than he did through the entirety of the manga and anime. They could not have done a better job with this character. Armand Aucamp absolutely flourishes in this role. Knowing that Oda was so involved with the series, he must have had some sort of a hand in this. And keep in mind, this series has been in the making for 7 years. I need to discuss a relevant manga chapter that released a month before this, so if you didn't read it, then don't watch this. So in chapter 1087, Bogart appears on Garp's ship, and this is 17 years since his last manga appearance. He didn't do anything, though canonically it seems he was restricted by his duty, but I think the real life reason Oda didn't give him an actual scene is because he just doesn't want to yet. For one, it was very clearly the new generation's time to shine. But most importantly, if he gave Bogart some of the spotlight in that mini arc, there would be many One Piece fans who would have no idea who he is. They would just assume he's one of the new Sword members, and he has way more experience than those guys. He's Garp's number 2, always by Garp's side. He was even introduced with Garp in 1997 before Chopper and Blackbeard. He's an OG. Even in Chapter 0, he was still with Garp. And it's obvious he's pretty strong too, especially considering the experience he has with Garp. But people being unaware of him isn't just because of the fact that he hasn't appeared in 2 decades. It also has to do with the way his character is designed. The whole essence of his character is being low-key and subtle. He rarely ever makes his presence known. He is simply not a flashy character. You could label him a background character because he hardly ever leaves the shadows. And this was our first time seeing Bogart since 2006. So I believe this was Oda's way of acknowledging his existence, but still not wanting to fully address him yet. He might have not wanted to reintroduce this character into the story if a good chunk of the fan base would assume he's a new character. It would only make sense that he wants to make sure Bogart has full hype before giving him some actual screen time in the story. And the live action just happens to be Oda's opportunity to do that. He's cemented as a prominent and strong Marine, getting name dropped in this show. And I've seen so many new Bogart fans in the last couple days, I can't say I'm not liking it. So now that Bogart hype is at an all-time high, this would be the best time to give him a proper reintroduction in the manga. I'm not guaranteeing anything, I just think this makes sense, but we'll have to see. This video is a year old. It needs an update because a month after this video, a huge thing dropped. If you don't want to be spoiled on this, then do not watch further. I don't want to discuss what Bogart's God Valley appearance means for his strength because I've talked about that a billion times. What I want to discuss is why Oda chose to put Bogart on the front lines of one of the most important battles in One Piece. In the same place as Rayleigh, mind you. First, he appears for the first time in 17 years. Then he gets put in 7 out of 8 episodes of the live action. And then we get this appearance. He is clearly being reintroduced to One Piece fans, whether you think he is the weakest character ever or not. All I'm saying is we could easily be getting some actual Bogart content very soon. Like a God Valley flashback is literally all it would take. Or even him just lore dropping on Kobe and Helmeppo. That could easily happen. And as I've said, an SBS or Viver card would also be appreciated. Either way, it is guaranteed that this panel will be animated, so Toei will have our backs.